What do you say, everybody? Welcome to Bama Insider, Bama Insider YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, give us a thumbs up, hit the bell as we talk about Alabama football. And I'm telling you, not quite the game that I expected. I think a lot of you guys kind of feel the same way that I do right now. But what I want you to do, get in the comment section or call us, 205-850-1994. I'm with Jay Barker tonight, as always, as we talk about how this thing went down. Alabama was a 24-20 winner. Nothing impressive, though, to me about this game, and I'm sure a lot of you guys feel the same way. But before we get into this, and Jay, I'm going to probably – Jay is like, look, we won by one. I'm going to let Jay say that. I'm going to tell you what I think. But before we do that, let me remind you guys that our show is brought to you by Westgate Luxury Condominiums. I'm right next to Bryant-Denny Stadium. Look at that. Everybody's filing out right now. They're happy. At the same time, they're concerned as they walk out of the stadium. But you wouldn't be concerned if you got a condominium here. 1 to 5 bedroom units. They are glorious. They're 900 to 3,000 square feet. Amazing quality. You got the Skygate clubs where we're hanging out right now. WestgateAL.com. All right, Jay.
Mick, what's up?
What's up, brother? It's good to see you. How you doing, man?
Well, a little scary, but a win is a win, as you know, I would say, and we won it. So, just a tough outing for the offense with Jalen at quarterback, his first start, and you're going to have the hiccups. You're going to have the miscues, and the biggest thing you can't do as a quarterback coming into a situation like that is do anything to hurt your team. And he did with the 2 fumbles, the 1 short throw, which probably would have been a really nice gain or a touchdown if he is able to get the ball down the field. The guy's got an unbelievable arm. So it just, again, those first game jitters, at least he's got the experience now. I think we'll get Bryce back hopefully next week. I think they felt like it was kind of a game time decision is what they told, but I think they realized early in the week that he wasn't going to be ready to go on Saturday. But look, Jalen's just got a lot of growing up to do. He also made some really good plays in the game, some really nice throws. Guys really stepped up. Thought Jahmyr Gibbs had a terrific game as far as running the football. I think the offensive line at times had really good offensive as far as opening up the holes for the run game. Protection at times I thought was a little bit iffy. I thought they did a really good job on their side of the football. Diggs especially was really a disruptor in the first half. They had a little bit to solve for him in the second half. But overall, look, defense I thought played well. They played on the short field all night long. We had some really good pressure. I thought the cheetah package looked really good that they were able to implement a couple weeks back and now really putting that into motion with these spread-style offenses. And Jimbo, give him credit. He had some answers when they needed them and had some plays to come in and really had schemed them up against Alabama's defense. So it should never have been here. If Bryce plays, I think we win by 2 or 3 touchdowns, if not more. But, look, give A&M credit. They came in, they played their hearts out. Jimbo and Coach Saban's feud that we talked about from the summer throughout the week now is hopefully over and done, as Saban got the best of this one. Man, that flag was late, though, at the end, I thought. The guy had already downed the ball and the flag was flying in, but at least they didn't get the touchdown. The other thing is A&M, the 12th man became a whole new definition for them because that really cost them in that part of the game when they had the 12th man on the field and was not able to get him off the field in time. And why is he jogging to the sideline?
I don't know.
Get out. I can't stand that when players – to me, it's just so selfish. You got to get off the field. Get off the field. But I will say this. I wish they would change that rule, that if you're almost off the field or close to getting off the field and you're not going to do anything in the play and you're off the field as the play goes, they shouldn't call a 12th man on the field. I think they need to change that rule in college football and all of football.
Yeah, right. Look, I'm looking at this thing right now and I'm going, man, this is one of those games where you're lucky to get out of here with a dub. Yeah. But the turnovers by Milroe killed Alabama today. They're lucky to walk out of this game with a win. If Texas A&M had a halfway decent offense, they win this football game. Yeah,
there's no doubt about it. And again, as a quarterback, you just got to protect the ball. Coach Saban, I thought, took a good approach with him. Didn't really, I saw him the last time kind of get on to him on that interception and even that last fumble. Just saying, make good decisions, holding the football, 2 hands on the ball. Just fundamental things you learn from the time you're in Little League all the way through. But again, his mind is on everything that's happening out there, and he hasn't been in those type of situations yet. So tonight's a great night for him to learn a bunch and to know that he's got the experience that if Bryce does go down again, that at least he's got the experience to look back on and learn from tonight.
Well, it was a 24-20 win for Alabama, but it was not easy. I just the turnovers couldn't have come at a worse time to me. We just don't see this type of football. The penalties have kind of been there this year, but the turnovers haven't been. And I just thought Milroe was going to step in and run with it. But the other thing, Jay, is he's just not a good passer right now. I mean, maybe he'll eventually turn into one, but every time he was in the pocket, I'm taking a deep breath watching him try to throw the football.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for him is just decision-making at the line of scrimmage and really understanding the motions and getting all that stuff down. I know that over the last couple of years, he struggled at times in scrimmages and practices with that. He got better as the week went on. I heard he had a really great Tuesday practice. They felt really good about it. Wednesday was okay. And then Thursday was kind of hay in the barn type stuff where you're not really doing a lot besides just running your script. But they felt like he was ready to play. And, the good thing about it, he's a very good athlete. He can continue to learn and grow in this offense. And more importantly, the things that he did tonight, he can clean up. And you say, look, the fumbles, interception, there were 4 turnovers. 3 of the turnovers were him. And it's his first start. So he's going to grow from this, learn from this. I think there's a lot to take away from it. But on the other side of it, too, he's got to play better. And he knows that. He'll be the first one to admit that tonight.
All right, let me see if we get I think we got the call thing going here, Jay.
Okay.
If we don't, I'm going to have to crank it back up again. But let's go to the phone lines and hear what you guys think. Let's talk about this Alabama game with Jay Barker and Mick Gillispie post-game here on the BamaInsider YouTube channel. Who's this and where are you calling from? Are you there? Okay, I got it. I'm going to have to crank it back up again. I think it dropped out. Well, what was the biggest concern to you in this game, Jay, as I kind of fixed this call deal?
How Jalen would play and how he would react to the pressure of being a starting quarterback, how he would play, knowing that just all that this game meant, being at home and being at Bryant-Denny Stadium. It's, a lot of times I tell people all the time, and I've told you this, to me as a player, it was harder playing at Bryant-Denny than it was on the road because the pressure to live up to the fans' expectations and the desire to want to win and let them go out of that stadium like right now as we're watching on that live screen to be happy. And tonight they're happy, but they're a little bit of mixed feelings thinking, okay, why did we not play better? But again, it really goes back to, Bryce not being there. Bryce is there. It opens up everything on the offense. You can do more. I was surprised we didn't run more screens tonight. Screens to the back, screens to the wide receivers just to make easy completions for Jalen instead of trying to push the ball down the field at times. But, in the second half, they did that. They were having more success. The turnovers just really killed Alabama from ever sustaining drives, really keeping our defense off the field, and again, giving Texas A&M short fields to play with. And look, Jimbo's a great offensive coordinator. He's a really good coach, and he can scheme and do certain things. You could tell tonight that, especially when they got into that the trips look, they knew kind of how Alabama was playing their safeties, how they were playing that guy on that third receiver end, and they took advantage of that. They took advantage of other things tonight too in the run game. So, I think Alabama. I really was impressed by the defense. I really was. I thought that defense at times tonight reminded me, Mick, so much of our '92 defense because what I saw was speed and athleticism. Forever we've seen size, but tonight we saw speed and athleticism, guys pressuring the quarterback and making him really have to make quick decisions. And
thank you for calling Collins Studios.
You're so welcome.
Screener line.
You're very
Please
welcome.
Enter your show
You
or
just keep
meeting number
talking
and
while I
press
get this
pound.
thing set up, Jay. Everybody ignore the man behind the curtain there, right?
That's right. Yeah, I'll just keep talking to him. All right. We got somebody dialing number. Is that you dialing numbers?
That's me. I'm just the thing got disconnected, so I'm just trying to get us connected.
Yeah. This is the what we call this the all night hotline.
Enter your 6-digit PIN number.
Okay, I'll do it. Give us your 6-digit PIN number. What
Here
is
it comes. Here it comes.
Welcome,
All
host.
right, we're in.
You
We're
are now in the host
Yes.
room and can
All
manage
right.
your callers from
All
the
right, let's see
Collins
if-
Studio web interface.
Let's see if it kept our calls. All right, who's this and where are you calling from?
There we go. Somebody's there.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey,
There we go.
you held on. We figured out how to get you on the air. Who's this and where are you calling from?
Oh, okay. There's Demetrius from North Carolina.
Demetrius, roll tide, man.
Roll Tide.
Can you hear Jay or you can just hear me?
What's up, Demetrius?
He just said, "What's up?"
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
He can just hear me.
And,
All right, so
well, it was
I'll
ugly for
echo Jay's sentiments here.
I think somebody set this up like that.
I kind of like
Yeah.
it, Jay.
I know you do. I know it.
Yeah,
Well,
it was
Demetrius-
ugly. It was ugly, fellas. It was ugly. It was ugly. Ugly as ugly can be. I thought maybe that as a whole team, from the coaches to the players, I thought maybe they'd come in more focused. I can understand, Jalen, being just this start, big time, big light. And I can understand one turnover, but, we did overcome it. I'm just, I don't. I mean, the defense stepped up. Couple. Had my heart pounding at the end of them pass interference, but I'm trying to put my hand on it. It's just something that's missing. A mental focus, a mental lapse on this, and we this far into the season. I mean, I just don't know. I mean, I don't believe that. I mean, just my humble opinion. I've had a family member play in college. I don't talk negative about the young man, but I don't believe the coaches nor the players. None of them were focused for this game. That's just my humble opinion. For you to come out there and play like that, some of the things did work, but Bill O'Brien, I have never said nothing, negative about him. But hey, we need a refund on some of that money we paying you. You can't come up with nothing better than that. I mean, what the young man can do well, you should have been working that all game long. This ain't no Randall Cunningham where he can throw the ball 70 yards down the field. That's what he's trying to do. So, hey, pack it up and try it again next week. I still think we can beat Tennessee, even with Jalen Milroe. So, roll Tide.
Hey, thanks, Demetrius.
Somebody else can come in. I especially want to listen to Robert from Mobile, his opinion. But
I do too.
Roll Tide. Y'all have a good one, fellas.
Roll Tide, Demetrius. Look, man, I'm glad you called in, Jay. I mean, you chew on that a little bit, Jay.
Yeah, again, look, Jalen Milroe's first start, he was 12 of 19, 111 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, 63 completion percentage. But Jahmyr Gibbs, what a night he had. 21 attempts, 154 yards, 37 long, 7.3 average. And even Jalen Milroe got 17 carries, 83 yards. That's right. 33 is long. So, and some of those carries are sacks or, when he's brought down behind the line of scrimmage. I hate that rule for the quarterbacks, I've said many times. But look, I mean, to me, there is things that you can be excited about. I really thought the defense looked different tonight. I thought they played with an intensity level and a speed that we have not seen. I think a lot of that had to do with the cheetah package that they've talked about using, as well as just how the guys came out there. And I thought they looked very motivated to play in this game. I just think people were kind of off their game without Bryce being out there. They're used to kind of turn around looking at him, and he's going to make the big play. He's going to make the big touchdown or the big run. He's going to, make it a blowout type game. And he wasn't there tonight. And I think that took some adjustment from the team. I thought they really got behind Jalen. And again, without the 4 turnovers, which is very uncommon for an Alabama offense, we've seen the penalties, we've seen the turnovers this year. Hopefully they'll learn from this like they did in that week 1. But the turnovers themselves just killed the Alabama offense, but really put the defense in a really, really tough position throughout the game with the short fields for A&M for Jimbo Fisher to work with.
Yeah, look, I just thought the turnovers were terrible. I mean, that's the thing that you can't do. Like if you don't turn the ball over 3 times, if your quarterback doesn't turn the ball over 3 times, you blow these guys out.
It's a different game.
They were all teetering on running them out of the stadium. And now Jimbo Fisher is going to walk out of here. He's going to say that his team was better, but they didn't win today. He's going to act like they won the game. And
well, he bought them, so they should have won.
All right, let's go, Jay. Let's go back to the phone lines again.
But I will say that this makes me feel old once again. Muhsin Muhammad and I played together in Carolina Panthers. His son, Moose Muhammad.
Really?
Yeah, number 7 for A&M, and had the touchdown tonight, as well as played really well. He looks so much like his dad. It's unbelievable.
I had Muhsin Muhammad on my fantasy football team.
Did you?
Oh, yeah.
I got to throw to him all the time in practice.
Yeah, he was pretty good. He was a very reliable wide receiver.
Great scout team guy. He was All-American, All-Pro for me in Carolina Panthers scout team.
All right, let's go back to the phone lines again as we hang out with you guys on the Bama Insider YouTube channel. Jay Barker and Mick Gillispie. And by the way, Will Crawl, man, thank you for the super chat. Roll Tide, brother. Thank you for being with us. All you guys that are hanging out with us tonight. Look, I'm not happy about the way things went down today, but I want to hear what you guys have to say. I just think that the performance today was just under the standards of this team. But who's this and where are you calling from?
Harry from Alabama.
What's up, Harry?
So the offense, the 3 turnovers that drive me nuts is they were right after touchdowns.
Right.
We go touchdown, stop them, get the ball, turnover. the pick, I'm not as worried about. It was 3rd and 12. It was like a punt.
Right.
So be it. But also, Bill O'Brien, like, why are we trying to get fancy on 3rd and 2? And we run a rollout pass, 12-yard sack. Ends up being a 49-yard field goal, Reichard miss, which he's 0 for 3 on the right hash this year. Second, and then 3rd and, that final possession we have, why are we using Jahmyr Gibbs as a decoy? Like, let's not get fancy. Like, give it to Gibbs and see what he does. Like, I think before our first touchdown, they had said a wide receiver hadn't caught a pass. With Sark and Lane, the shovel pass was like a big part of our offense. It's not even there, but you think you'd at least get that into this to settle down Jalen a little bit, let him get into the flow of the game, make this defense, because A&M was tired. And we were just running straight at him. Imagine the first couple of drives, it was side to side. But I'll hang up and let you guys talk about that and keep up the great work.
Hey, thanks,
some great
Harry.
points. Yeah,
appreciate it. Look, I'll say this, Jay. I'm not saying Bill O'Brien's not a great coach, but he's just not very inventive, man. I mean, like, I just feel like after having Lane Kiffin and Steve Sarkisian, that it's like we've just gone back in a time machine and we just played not to lose. Like, we don't have a killer instinct right now.
Who are you talking to? You're not.
I'm talking to Cheryl Yingling. She's up here. Roll Tide, Cheryl. Look,
what's up, Cheryl?
And so Jay says, "What's up?"
Yeah.
You can wave at him if you want
Hey,
to. He says,
there's a little crimson in every Yingling.
She's the little crimson in every green bottle. But she's not happy. I'm not happy. Chris is happy. Trey's not happy. Chris is happy.
I'm always happy for a win. So
I am too.
That.
But this win though feels to me like there was just. I was afraid every time he was back there trying to throw the ball.
No, I know. I mean, it was not a great outing for him. It wasn't a good outing or a great outing or anything. He's got to clean that up. If he doesn't have the fumbles and still, even inside of that, he's got to get to where he can throw the ball down the field more, better. He reminded me a lot of Jalen Hurts when Jalen first started playing. He was looking at the rush. He wasn't looking downfield. He was escaping the pocket too quickly. You kind of saw that with Ashford today, Robbie Ashford for Auburn. Same thing. I mean, there were times where he should have stayed in the pocket. But the guys that are runners in high school, and that's what their offense is built around, they have a hard time not getting antsy feet, not staying in the pocket and making the throws. Where when you watch Bryce or you watch Stetson Bennett, those guys sit there with comfort. Now, Stetson's got, 7 years or 8, how long he's been there?
Yeah, right. Stetson's been there 15 years. I mean, I know that.
Two-year NFL guy. But good for him, though. He's had an outstanding year. But Jalen's just got to learn that game speed, got to learn to keep his eyes down the field, trust his offensive alignment, move up in the pocket, move side to side. Don't leave the pocket so quickly. But when you're as talented as he can run like a 4.3 40.
I know.
If you got that kind of speed, you feel like if I get on the outside, but what it does, it shrinks the field. It makes it so much harder for those passing windows. Plus, teams know which way can we flush him, which way is the best way to affect him in the pass rush instead of a guy that really sits in the pocket and makes the throws. So I tell you, I thought Bill made a great call on that one where Jalen kind of backed up and didn't make the throw, gets sacked. On that sack, he has the guy crossing underneath back to his right, and he's wide open. I can't remember who that was coming back across the middle, but he's underneath, and if he just throws it and trusts the play and trusts the system at that time, I think it's a touchdown. There was nobody on him.
Yeah. No, I'm with you, man. I mean, I saw that. And look, Steele Smith, hey, thanks, brother, for the super chat. We really appreciate it. And, love the fact that you're hanging out with us right now as we talk Alabama football. I'm going to try to get to some more calls. I just – in the comment section, you guys are blowing up right now too. Do you ever get to the point, Jay, in a game like this where you see that your quarterback has that much trouble throwing the football where you bring in a guy like Ty Simpson? Or, I mean, is it, you never do that?
Well, I think because Jalen got so much work this week to make sure that he was ready to play. I think if you've got more time and that, over the next couple of weeks, if Bryce was not going to be healthy, I think you would have given Ty more reps. But here's the thing. I really thought at halftime, I thought they may go in and have that discussion. They may think to themselves, let's see what he can do. Can he give us a little bit better passing? That way it opens things up even for us in the run game. Why not give him a chance, give him a shot? He's an unbelievable thrower, great athlete. But at the same time, Jalen's got the most experience. I think the most right now trusted by the coaches because of what they worked on all week, the system they kind of the plays they put in place and what they'd worked on with all the team and the plays they wanted to run against A&M. But no, I think Ty's going to be an outstanding player. I mean, that's a great question. I was thinking it again at halftime. You know, would they give him a couple of shots? Maybe a early drive to start the second half to see what he could do.
Well, it just feels like, I mean, the problem with Jalen Milroe to me is he's one-dimensional. I mean, and today, you know, when it was like, were they game plan for him, you know, and I knew this. I mean, we talked about this post-game show last week. Like, what's going to happen when they're game planning for him and they're going to try to keep him in the pocket? And we found out today what's going to happen is that he's going to have a hard time throwing the football. But on top of that, the turnovers, obviously, it's hard to tell when you turn the ball over 3 times. Alabama, honestly, lucky to win this game with 4 total turnovers.
Yeah, if he doesn't turn the ball over again, I mean, it's a totally different game. I mean, I think Alabama wins by 2 touchdowns. You know, and I think, too, the defense doesn't give up the touchdowns. They don't score as many points. But, you know, again, there's things they can work on, they can get better at. The guy's an amazing athlete. He's a great young man. I know that for a fact. And the team really loves Jalen Milroe. They want to play well for him, but he's just got to make better decisions and got to protect the football. That's what a quarterback is not. You can't hurt your team. You got to help put your team in a position to win. And he had 3 tonight that really put him in a tough position, especially his defense.
24-20 Alabama with the victory. About to go back to the phone lines again, trying to get this thing set up. Anything else that you thought about? How about the look? I'm the producer and the phone producer and the host right now, and with 100,000 people standing outside here, the technology's not doing what we want it to do. But was there? What about the defense? I thought the defense did a great job, constantly playing with their backs up against the wall.
Yeah, I just thought looked like again speed on the field, that cheetah package. I really thought too in the defensive backs.
That was an invalid pin for Kyle Henderson. Call and show. Please re-enter your 6-digit pin.
Right,
if you think you
this
have
is
reached the
70s
wrong
on
show,
7.
hang up and try again.
70s at 11 o'clock at night.
Oh man,
it's our 70s phone line.
You don't even know. Normally it's smooth, but
I know. Yeah,
it's been one of those nights. Can we?
Welcome, host. You are now in the host room and can manage your callers from the call-in studio web interface.
All right, let's go back to the phone lines again with Jay Barker and Mick Gillispie. Who's this, and where are you calling from?
Hey, Mick. Hey, Jay. This is Brandon calling from D.C. How's it going?
Hey,
I was just there, Brandon. I was just there Wednesday and Thursday.
Oh, nice, man. Well, you took all the great weather with you because it's getting a bit chilly over here. But definitely want to talk about the game, man. I know the first caller, he was calling in saying that the team looked uninspired. They looked unfocused. I actually got to disagree. I thought the defense played extremely well. I thought the defense actually kept us in the game. At the end of the day, the one thing that everybody has to remember, and again, I played for Clemson, man, but I'm an Alabama fan through and through. The quarterback has to be a force multiplier. Bryce Young is a force multiplier. He inspires the defense. He gets everyone calm and collected during any type of stress. The problem, anytime I saw Jalen Milroe back there, and I think all the fans experienced this throughout the game, he gave me anxiety. And as a quarterback, if you're stepping back and people are freaking out and we don't feel like you actually know your reads, right? So I know Jay actually brought up a great point saying that there was a crosser there, and instead of throwing to the spot, he has to wait to see the receiver get open.
Yeah, that's
Everyone knows that when you have a receiver and quarterback relationship, man, the receiver has to get to the spot and the quarterback has to trust the receiver to get to the spot.
Yep.
Jalen is at this point in his career, and actually Jalen Hurts has the same issue, right? Is they have to see it get open before they throw it. You have to. Bryce Young has mastered. He's one of those people that he just steals the game. He has this presence about him. But the one thing that you can say Bryce does is he throws the receiver open or he throws to a spot. So anytime you see a pick, most of the time it's the receiver not being in the right spot. So at the end of the day, I'm praying that Bryce gets back, but, Jalen will get better. But my issue that is going to probably continue down is I think Jalen is a great athlete playing quarterback, but I don't know if he has the feel or the pocket presence to be able to really make an impact this year. I think we got to give him a bit of time. You can see it with Jalen Hurts playing for Philadelphia. He's figured it out.
Right.
It's going to take a bit of time. Right. I don't know if we have that time. So Hopefully Bryce is back, because if we look at how we did tonight against Tennessee, it's going to be a massacre, man. So I'm going to drop off the line, man. Roll Tide. Huge kudos to look, my boy Anderson was almost there 15 times, man.
Yeah, he was.
How many pressures he had, but he is the Terminator. Shout out to him. Shout out to Dallas. But at the end of the day, man, William, he needs to be up for the Heisman. Roll Tide.
Hey, Roll Tide, great call. Hey, Jay, I thought that was a great call from DC right there, and I tend to agree with him, man. Yeah. I mean, that's how I felt. Like, I just didn't think Jalen Milroe was ready for the job today. He wasn't ready for prime time. And when you take over at quarterback at Alabama, it's like he said, every time you went back, you're going – you could feel that he just wasn't ready to, like, do it.
Well, two things. One, Bryce is like a Jedi, right? I mean, he is. He's got the senses of everything, and he's had it since he's been in high school. He's just a special player. So to step in and fill those shoes is really tough for any quarterback to do that. But he's just got to – if he just protects the football tonight, puts two hands on the ball, doesn't have the turnovers, doesn't throw a ball short, have the interception, it's a totally different game. So those are easy things to clean up. Now, if I'm a defense playing Alabama, what do? I put 8 guys in the box. I'm loading the box up saying, you're going to beat me with one-on-one coverage. You're going to have to make the throws. We're not going to let you run the football. Because if they'd have done that side on AM's defense and it really stopped Alabama's run game, it would have been a really tough night for Alabama offensively. But instead, Jameer had a nice night with a bunch of yards, didn't have a touchdown, but still had yards. And Jalen still made some great plays in the run game, still had a couple of really nice throws as well to get the touchdown passes. I like him off the RPOs. I like him off play action pass. Let him do what he does best. I thought we should have had more screens, as one of the callers talked about earlier. Out to the outside, get the ball out quick. Screens to Jameer or to Jace McClellan. Let those guys catch the ball in space and make plays. So I think those are things that they can get to, that they feel like he'll feel more comfortable with as the weeks go on or as the days go on. But I'm pretty sure we'll get Bryce back coming up next week. Now, for the first time in my life, I've never seen Bryce Young look nervous on the field. And tonight was the first time I actually saw him look nervous and anxious.
Because he's not in the game. Because he's not in the game.
That's right. Yeah.
Because he got hurt trying to throw the football. I'm listening to the radio broadcast halftime show, and this guy, Brian Houseworth, who I think works in Learfield's offices in Missouri, is talking about this workmanlike performance by Jalen Milroe, and he's talking about how good he – I'm like, man, the guy's turned the ball over twice. And then there was another one in there. What workmanlike performance is that? Workmanlike's – I don't care about the yards, but tuck the ball, Houseworth. I mean, come on, man.
Well, they're on the Alabama network. They can't say anything negative. So
man,
but you got to protect the ball. I mean, as a quarterback, you don't hurt your team. And look, I had games where I did that, with fumbles or interceptions, and at times we came out on top. I mean, we only lost 2 times, but still, I think for Jalen, he's going to get better as the game goes on.
You need to meet her.
Is that Alice?
That's Alice. Yeah. Alice, meet Cheryl Yingling. Yeah, that's Alice, Jay.
Awesome.
Jay's on too. Here's my cup. Just put whatever you got. No, I'm just kidding. We're just putting Coke in there. But look, Jay, I mean, I agree with you. Let's go back to the phone lines again. We got all these people waiting, and Jay's the voice of reason today. He's the Brian Houseworth. I'm just
Don't put me in that.
You're like having your workman type performance.
That's
I'm just the guy that tells the truth here. All right, who's this and where you calling from?
The Home Depot workman. Yeah.
Who's this and where you calling from?
This is Brent. I'm calling from South Carolina.
Hey,
what's up, Brett?
What's up, man? Roll Tide. I miss Bryce Young so bad. Oh, my God, I miss him so bad. It's almost like Jalen Milroe was hyperventilating in the pocket, and it had me on the edge of my seat the whole game. I'm like, oh, my God.
You didn't think he was having a workmanlike performance?
Not really. I mean,
neither.
The whole past year I was saying Milroe was probably the deal, but now I'm thinking probably not.
Look, he's going to be all right, though, man. I mean, he's just not ready for prime time yet. Look at
that guy, though. Look at the screen.
Yeah,
my gosh.
I know. Look, he's a big athlete, Jay. He can run the ball. He's got a good arm, but I agree with this guy. I agree. It just looked like he was afraid every time he was back there.
You would be, too.
I would be. That's why I'm sitting here. Hey, great call. Let's go back to the phone. Jay, I've never been in that spot before.
Right. Yeah.
But you know what spot I'm in? This chair right here.
That one right there. Quit giving him stuff.
Oh, I haven't had anything. I was just there was a big sigh of relief when the game ended. And and guess what?
Oh, there was. Man, I was like, oh.
We get to go to Tennessee next week.
And they look amazing.
Yeah. Hey, just by the way, FYI, we're going to Neyland Stadium next week to play probably a team that's going to be like 5th in the country, and they just blew out LSU. But, we'll figure it out. And honestly, we will. All right, who's this and where you come from?
Hey, man, what's happening? It's Uncle Charles from Alabama, man.
Uncle Charles, man, please help me here, man. Help me. Tell me what's going on.
Yes, sir. I'm going to go ahead and help you right now. Let me tell you something. This is not Alabama football. The defense played pretty good, but that ain't what I'm talking about. That ain't what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. People in the chat say, oh, we did real good. Man, I'm in total confusion. Man, we had at least 3 unsportsmanlike conduct. Then the boy, he kept fumbling the ball, and Nick Saban kept telling him, go take a sack, throw the ball away. And he just didn't get it. He just didn't get it. Now, man, let me tell you something, man. I didn't know what I was watching, Friday the 13th or Midnight on Elm Street. I didn't know which one I was watching.
You need to take Brian for a shot.
You know what it gets real stupid? Here it is. This personal foul has got to stop. Tua last week. That's his name, Tua. I want to get that young man's name on. Tua come across the field and hit the guy, and the play was handed over. And then I was telling you what he did was fully. I don't know what else to tell you. Man, we played a bad game tonight. And if we don't clean this up before next Saturday, Tennessee goes over.
Uncle Charles, I agree, bro. I agree.
You can't play like this, bro. I'm going to say this in close. Let me just say this in close. Let me tell you something, man. My favorite horror movie was Friday the 13th, Jason. And then you get these inspired producers come in, and next thing you know, Jason is in New York. Now he's in New York. Then next thing you know, he's in space. Now you need to stop making these movies. That's what you need to stop doing. And we need to stop committing these doggone fouls. Because it's killing drives. And that's all I got to say, Phil. I appreciate you.
Hey, Charles, Uncle Charles, good
call.
Right now, you're the call of the night. Crimson Tide Sports Network, you need to hire Uncle Charles for your halftime show. Give me some honesty instead of you telling me about a workmanlike performance.
That's working man's comments there.
Yes.
There you go. Yeah.
Jay, help me out here. What'd you think?
No, great call. I mean, what can you say? I mean, he said it all right. I mean, it was not the performance that we expected. I knew that Jalen would probably struggle a little bit, but I thought he would struggle more in the passing game, and he did. But I didn't think he'd have the turnovers. I thought, the one thing you can always do is hold on the football. I think at times he was trying to do too much instead of trying to play with himself. Just let the game come to him. I'll never forget my sophomore year. I think it was Danny Perriman came up to me and he said, "Look, one of the things I think as a coach that's watched you for the last 2 years is that you sometimes try to make things happen too much. You're a former safety. You played 1 year quarterback in high school. This is kind of a new position for you. And as a quarterback, the guys that I've worked with, the guys I've talked to, and it's this time he was a tight end coach at Alabama, he said, you got to let the game come to you. Let it just come to you and play within yourself. And that was some of the best advice I got. And I think Jalen's the same way. I think
leaving?
I'm not leaving. I'm here.
No, you stay here, Jay. I'm just talking to Cheryl. I'm listening to you. Just keep going. You don't even know the Skygate Club right now is cranked up.
I bet. There's a mute button that they have in broadcasting that you can use.
All right, just keep going. I'm going to try that.
No, I'm done. I'm done.
All right, let's go back to the phone lines again. All right.
All right. Oh, Lord, you forgot to do that. I think you just froze up. You're playing games with me now. All right, we got the post-game show presented by Westgate going on. Can you hear me now, Mick?
Well, I saw Alice came. She's gone. Who's this and where you calling from?
You froze up there for about 10 seconds.
This is James from Mississippi.
James, tell us about it, man. Tell us something, please.
Man, look, man, I usually don't smoke, But I had to go to my next door neighbor and give me a cigarette because this was driving me crazy during the whole game tonight, man. Because for the simple fact it is, everybody's saying anything about Milroe and everything like that of that nature. But you got to look at Bill O'Brien, too, and look at the preparation he did with Milroe during the whole week. Because if you look at it, a couple drives, they looked very confused on what they wanted to call. Like one of the instances was the read option. When Jason McClellan ran the wrong way and Milroe handed the ball off and he had to scramble for a couple yards. So you see the preparation that they had with Milroe. So Ball has to get it together he has to get it together overall. Due to the simple fact it is, man, I know it's a different quarterback, but y'all have sit down during earlier part of the week to see what y'all gonna do as far as the game plan. Put a better game plan together for Milroe. Even though he messed up tonight, I put part of the blame on Bob himself.
All right, well, look.
Bill O'Brien.
Yeah, Bill O'Brien. Well, thanks for the call, man. Roll Tide.
Thank you, man.
Roll Tide.
Always bringing
y'all
it,
doing
man.
a good job.
Thank you. Jay,
my understanding is he had a really good Tuesday practice, that they'd put some stuff in on Monday. They kind of dwindled down Tuesday. They found out kind of what he liked, what he felt good about. I'm talking about Jalen. And Bill felt really good about him after Tuesday's practice. Wednesday was a good practice, wasn't nearly as good as Tuesday's. And then, after that, the Hayes in the barn. So you really have, really 2 days and really 3, I guess, Wednesday to kind of implement some things. But really, you begin cutting down after Monday. You cut down throughout the week on the things that you feel good about that your quarterback can do. So, look, I think Bill could have been a little more creative at times. I think there could have been some more screens and stuff and quick passes to get the ball out. But when they ran the RPOs, they ran the underneath passes, some of the mesh type things that they did to get guys open, I thought he looked really good and was throwing the ball very accurate. I think he was more comfortable in those type of situations than he was in some of the ones down the field more where he had to kind of read it out more or have, holding the ball a little bit longer, didn't feel as comfortable in the pocket.
All right, let's go back to the phone lines again. Jay Barker and Mick Gillispie on the roof of Westgate Luxury Condominiums, the Skygate Club, talking about Alabama's 24-20 squeaker over Texas A&M. Who's this and where you calling from?
Hey, what's up, fellas? This is Shane from Baltimore.
My hometown. What's up, man?
Yeah, what's up? Hey, first off, Jahmyr Gibbs is so good. Oh, my
Great
God,
player.
let me join the train of praise for that guy.
Bring him on.
Does he remind y'all at all of Sherman Williams?
A little bit.
The way he runs and
Whoa.
swings through little cuts and
That's your day, Jay.
That
you
is.
don't think are there? I mean, come on. That's who he reminds me of. I've heard all the, the Kenyon Drake and other Alvin Kamara comparisons, but I really like the Sherman Williams comparison there. On Milroe, the top 8 man, I think he's a good dude. I think he's an incredible talent, but he's the type of guy that needs a true offensive philosophy shift if he's going to be at the helm. Sort of like when Lamar got to starting for the Ravens a little bit ahead of schedule, and they just went all in behind what his strengths were. And I think if you did that, you could have a productive offense, but he can't run Bryce's offense.
Great point.
Yeah.
Do y'all think the officiating was exceptionally bad? I don't like crying about the refs, but it seemed a little extra bad tonight. And my last point before I hang up so I can hear Jay and you, Mick, but y'all, let's be real. Gary definitely went through a change of pants on that last drive when he thought we were for sure about to lose, right?
I hate Gary. I mean, am I the only one? And I'm sure he's a great dude. I just can't stand him on the calls, man.
Oh, no.
I can't stand him.
Salivating. All right. All right, roll tide, fellas.
Hey, roll tide.
A win, and I'll take it any way I can get it.
Hey, thanks for the call from B-More. Look, he makes a great point about Lamar, too. I mean, Lamar is not a drop-back quarterback. You try to put him in a system where he's got to drop back in the pocket, he can't do it. But the way that Baltimore has transitioned, I want you – thank you.
So is that Jay?
Say hi to Jay there.
Hey, Jay.
What's up, Alice?
Hey, buddy. Alice
How are you?
Maxwell.
Good. Thank you.
Can you hear Jay right now? He said
No,
good.
I can't.
He said good. Thank you.
I'm sorry he's not here.
Well, he's here in picture.
In video.
In video.
Enjoy
He's video.
it. Roll Tide.
Yeah, I was telling Cheryl she wants to buy one of these one day. So you should.
There we go.
I said Alice is the person, but everyone listening right now, WestgateAL.com, or you can talk to Alice about these units. They're amazing here, right?
Thank you so much. I'm glad you're here.
Which one's the best one though? The 9 the 900 square feet or the 300 square feet unit?
The one that is only that's available.
It's available right now. Well, thank you. Good to see
Tell
you.
her we
Alice.
want to do a listener spend the night party.
Hey, Jay says we want to do a listener spend the night party.
Oh, and
We want to camp right out up here. It's honestly, it's like hanging out at the Zone, right across from the football stadium, isn't it?
Y'all always got an invite.
Yeah. Well, great to see you, Alice. WestgateAL.com, and again, our partner for the post game show is, it was a tough win for us, Alice, but we did win. All right, Jay, what were we talking about?
Let's go back to the phone lines.
Let's go back to the phone. Let's do what we do here and go back to the phone lines, and let's not talk about Gary Danielson again.
Yeah, I like Gary.
You like Gary?
He's a friend of mine.
Look, yeah. I'm sure he's a good dude.
He's a good dude, but I get it.
He's so hard for me to listen to, man.
I've had this debate with other Bama fans, and I don't debate him. I'm like, you're right. But
I grew up listening to Howard Cosell, man. I remember Howard Cosell, and it was like he could get on your team, but there was something about him that you liked. It's like Gary's that guy. He's like nails on the chalkboard, man. All right, who's this and where you calling from? You with us?
What's up, man?
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, this is Brian. I'm calling from the hospital. I had a heart attack watching this game. Oh, my goodness.
Brian calling from the hospital. They got the IV in your arm and everything?
Dude, the ambulance had to come get me. Thank God I got a lady in the apartment underneath me, man. She heard me scream. Oh, my goodness. It's been a couple times this year, and especially over the past 2 seasons. But I wanted to say that I've been a huge, ever since birth, Bama fan from the South. And I love watching Tua and Mac and all of the spring games coming up. And I liked Bryce last year, but ever since we've been missing him this season, man, oh, my goodness, it's hit me. It's really hit me. I'm like, oh, man. What is it? What's going to happen when he leaves? I'm really stressing.
Well, the answer is that Ty Simpson will be quarterback or Jalen Milroe will be quarterback. I mean,
I'm hoping it's Ty Simpson, man. I don't know if you can tell. My voice is almost gone yelling. The past 2 weeks now, put Simpson in. He was throwing some laser beams in that spring game.
You got to throw the ball. I mean, like the way that football is now, unless you change the offense, we were talking about the last guy from Baltimore, unless you change the offense where you got like 3 tight ends and your quarterback's kind of a running back and you gear it that way, that you can't have a drop back quarterback that's not able to read defenses and throw the football. Maybe he's able to develop into that, Jay. I mean, I don't know. I don't know enough about the position other than when Bryce Young came in, maybe he was just ready for that.
Well, yeah, I mean, he was.
I read a tweet earlier during the game, and somebody said that, any mistakes that O'Brien has made, Bryce Young's just been that good that he's been able to cover it up and kind of patch it together. And I couldn't agree more. Last year at A&M, it was super frustrating because go back and rewatch it if you don't remember. Every single snap in the second half, they would just watch the guard tap or the tackle tap and get that silent count. That's why they were jumping every single play. So I was super happy that we were going to get to play them at home this year so that crowd wouldn't be a factor. But, I mean, this was a nightmare, man.
Yeah. Hey, great call.
Absolute nightmare.
Great call from the hospital,
sure,
Brian.
Yeah.
Take it easy, man.
Hey, roll tide, brother. Thank you for calling in.
And their defense is young.
Yeah.
All right.
Their front seven is young.
And they got a lot of talent. I mean, like you saw a lot of those guys that were getting a chance. Jay, I'm going to throw Clint Lamb.
Oh, Clint, what's up, man?
Look at that. What's up, guys? Let me turn him up, though. You ready, Clint?
I'm ready.
There you are.
There we go.
What's up, dude?
What's up, Jay? What's up, Mick? How y'all doing?
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Westgate. Did Alice bring you one of these?
She hadn't yet.
It's just
I got to drive home. I ain't trying to get too weird.
That's just water. Water with lemon.
I know a couple of people on that Alabama staff that probably needs a couple of those.
Yeah. What did you think?
There was a lot of good and a lot of bad. Pass rush was incredible, by the way.
It was. Cheetah looked good.
I mean, it was anytime you needed. It was a money down, 3rd and long. Put that package in, 3 outside linebackers, 1 defensive lineman. it was like a guaranteed pressure.
Yeah.
I think they had 14 in the game, and 8 of them came from Will Anderson alone.
Will Anderson looked like he was shot out of a cannon tonight.
Absolutely. And I mean, it didn't, really translate to sacks, but Dallas Turner in that cheetah package in the last couple of weeks, they've, put Will Anderson in a position where he was the one that was in isolated one-on-one matchups. This week they switched it up and they gave that role to Dallas Turner, probably because Will Anderson's going to put pressure regardless of where you line him up at.
Right.
But Turner ended up, converting that into 2 sacks tonight, and so he played extremely well. And they are certainly going to need that cheetah package and that pass rush in general next week against Tennessee.
Yeah, let's not even get into that. Boy, that's a whole nother worry after this week's game.
Yeah, I mean, it was – what'd y'all think about Jalen Milroe?
Well, that's what the conversation's been. I mean, if you guys don't mind, I'd love to take some calls with all 3 of us on here. But, I mean, I was really concerned. I mean, I felt like every time he went back after the second fumble that I wanted to hide under the table and just kind of put my hand in my head, like I like the drill when your plane's going down. I mean, I was just like this. Like I just wanted them
Make
to
sure
run
you
the
put
ball.
your mask on first before you put on your sons.
I just wanted them to run the ball and not fumble it because he's so good at running. It just
Look at that picture right there. That's the cheetah triangle. When quarterbacks go in there, they go missing.
And the defense honestly did a great job. I mean, like that late flag at the end of the game.
They never showed us a replay, so I can tell. I mean, I didn't know if it was PI or not. Was it bad?
It felt like Gary Danielson called down and said
he held him. Okay,
he held him a little
give
bit.
Him the flag.
It wasn't
just
bad,
kidding.
but it was late.
It was just late.
Yeah.
But,
well, I think it was pretty key. Really, a lot of Texas A&M's offensive success until late was directly following a turnover. So if you gave them any sort of momentum, they immediately made you pay for it. It was a couple of touchdowns. It was a field goal. And that's a problem because I feel like going into this game, you look at Texas A&M and what they had. I feel like Alabama felt very confident in their defense's ability to limit the success of Texas A&M's offense.
Mm-hmm.
So from an offensive perspective, it's you don't have to go out there and necessarily win this football game. This isn't Tennessee. This isn't next week.
Right.
All you have to do is not do things to lose us the football game. And
that's what happened.
That's
tonight.
exactly.
They did.
Thank you, Clint.
100%.
That's Jay. Yeah. That's what I wanted to say.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, strip fumbles. I didn't feel like the interception was terrible. I feel like it was essentially a punt. I think it ended up going like 44 or 45 yards. But
right.
Still at the same, people pointed out when I said that on Twitter that, hey, I mean, you don't, that's not a guaranteed, like he's down right there. He could have returned it for a big chunk or for a touchdown. So, I mean, I don't think that was necessarily the goal. I just think the end result wasn't terrible. It was like, hey, throw it down there. If their guy gets it, I mean, it's not the end of the world. It was 3rd and 12. You knew you probably weren't going to convert, chunk it down the field. And, I mean, the punting for Alabama hadn't been great. So, I mean, I would say a 44-yard punt, would have been good in that situation.
Yeah, I'm watching Bramlett.
And Will Reichert missed 2 field goals.
I know.
I mean, normally, I know the one was 50-yarder. I mean, that's, acceptable. Then he overcompensated the next one, I think.
That was weird. I mean, it felt like Alabama from Baron Huber was on the show last night. He was talking about missing 5 field goals against Arkansas the last time we lost to him. That was like, okay, I'm not used to this, Will. You have spoiled us.
Yeah.
You have spoiled us.
One thing about this team is I'm still waiting. Now, granted, against Arkansas, they kind of weathered the storm. Things started going wrong.
Right.
Everything was going wrong. It's with Alabama. It almost feels like when one thing happens, everything starts happening. And now we'll say this tonight: you could constantly rely on the defense unless there was a turnover, and then it became shot downfield. You end up connecting on that. I don't think it was a perfect performance defensively by any means, but I would say for the most part, it looked about how we thought it would. And with Jahmyr Gibbs, I mean, rushing for 150 yards again. A lot of people, Texas A&M's got a great secondary. I do think that needs to be pointed out. I think they blanketed Alabama's receivers pretty well and didn't give, Jalen Milroe a whole lot of, options to go to. But there were some open guys that he just simply missed. So I think it's a combination of factors. I can't wait to dive back into the film and really see what went wrong and what went right.
Yeah, look, and to me, it was just – I felt like Alabama was on the verge of blowing these guys out constantly, and then he kept turning the ball over. And it was like, man, even if you just punt, they're not doing anything with it.
100%.
But give Texas A&M a lot of credit because when he made those mistakes, they jumped right on it and got back in the game. It reminded me of last year's game.
It's a different play calling though from that when you get a short field. as a coordinator, a head coach, you're willing to take chances.
Right.
And they got some big plays off of those turnovers. And you're the way that you call the game is so different than if you punt it down and you pin them inside, on their 20 or, backed up on the 20-yard line or further toward the end zone. It's just such a different – when you get in that freewheeling spot where you can pretty much do all your playbook, it not only allows the offense to do so much, but the defense, you got to defend so much. So now you got so many different packages, so many different things you got to worry about. So that's where it put the defense. And I agree with you, both of you guys. And I said it early on. I thought the defense looked more aggressive. I thought they looked faster. I thought they looked more athletic. I thought they put pressure on the quarterback. I thought they looked as good as I've seen them look with that kind of stuff throughout the year. I haven't seen them look better than they have tonight.
Yeah.
Again, they gave us some big plays, but I was excited about what I saw.
Well, I will say this too. They played like a defense that, Will Anderson made some comments during the summer about we'll find out, once the defense showed up and they did their part in that. I mean, especially him. I mean, 8 pressures by yourself in one football game is pretty incredible.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, let's go back to the phone lines. We'll do a couple more calls as we hang out with Clint Lamb, Jay Barker, Mick Gillispie on the BamaInsider YouTube channel. Who's this and where are you calling from?
This is Cameron Tomerlin from Birmingham, Alabama.
What's up, man? Tell us what you're thinking.
I was in there in section N3 for that last drive of the game. How important was the crowd in that last drive?
It was great.
Ton of credit,
I could
man.
hear you guys from over here, man. Like you were the only thing that was making me feel like I didn't want to do this show if we lost. I say we you guys made it happen tonight.
Hey, you're not kidding. And there was pass rush on every play of that last drive. It seemed like they really brought in everybody we had to try to make some plays happen.
There was not a single time.
What do you think about it, Jay?
Really, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut in on Jay, but just real quick.
Hey, great call, by the way. Roll Tide, man.
They can't hear me. They make it where they can't hear me anyway.
Well, you're
don't worry about it, Clint.
You're back in. Great call, section NN. I thought NN was the one I could really hear from there.
Hey,
you told me that. You texted me that and said, man, NN.
They're
did their
killing
job
it right
tonight.
now.
Yeah.
Like you can't even hold the football. But I was hiding under the table.
It was.
All right, guys. What are you
I never once, really, until probably those last 2 or 3 plays, there was never a part of me on that final drive. And I want to get y'all's take too. But it's kind of like I knew when they gave Bryce Young the football at the end of that Texas game, I 100% knew he was driving the field.
Me too.
And I felt very confident in Will Riker making the field goal. Now, after tonight's performance, maybe I won't feel as confident next time, but I just knew that's how it was going to play out. In this game, at that final drive, there was not a single part of me until they really got down there in the red zone. Even still, when they got in the red zone, I still felt pretty good about it. But that's the kind of confidence that, I have in this defense, and they were able to step up when it mattered. Now, granted, a couple of penalties. I'm sure they would like to have some of that stuff back. But, were y'all worried on that final drive?
Not to the 2-yard line.
Yeah.
Really? I mean,
right.
2-point conversion, anything can happen.
Right, exactly. And Jimbo can draw things up very well.
I didn't like the play call, by the way. That
was horrible. Yeah. I don't know why this makes no sense.
The reason is because Will Anderson was in their face all night.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, what play call are you going to call? I mean, he looked, honestly, it was crazy how fast he was getting in the backfield tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I would. That's one of those, if you're that right tackle. Really both. He did it from both sides, but predominantly on the right side. Coming off of Texas A&M's right side. If I was him, I wouldn't even want to watch the tape. Let's just burn that one, move on. He's doing that to everybody. He's going to be doing that to people in the NFL. That I don't feel like that's an adequate reflection of that guy's talent. But he got war. It was kind of like Scott Lashley last year for Mississippi State. He plays right tackle. Put him over there, and Will Anderson, I think, had 4 sacks. And it's like, I don't think he's a great right tackle, Scott Lashley, but I also don't think he was as bad as that performance either.
All right, let's go back to the phone lines. As you call in, get to your point, and then Clint Lamb, Jay Barker, and me, Mick Gillispie, are going to get to it tonight, talking about Alabama's 24-20 win over Texas A&M, which, by the way, they're still number 1 in the country, and they moved to 6-0. I don't know if we mentioned that. Who's this and where you calling from?
Hey, guys, this is Ken calling from Miami. Shout out to Jay Barker. I used to like watching you play.
Thank you.
You're one of the best.
Thank you.
It's you, Jay.
Thank you.
He said thanks, by the way. If you
is that Ken Dorsey?
No problem.
He said you Ken Dorsey.
He was a great quarterback.
No, Ken. I'm calling from Miami.
Jay maybe you can't hear him though.
Okay, I've been really getting sick of people talking bad about Milroe. I mean, the guy had a bad game. I mean, everyone has a bad game. I mean, how quick we forget. I mean, look how good he played last week.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and this is the same Texas A&M team that lost against Appalachian State, but they somehow, you know, they played us tough tonight. And the guy had a bad game. I mean, he had a good game just a week ago. I mean, everyone's entitled to a bad game. I mean,
and we're everybody's Super Bowl.
Is a Heisman Trophy winner, and he's had a few questionable games in his career. So I think we should give him the benefit of the doubt. I mean, what do you think, Jay? You're a quarterback. You.
Yeah, you can't hear me because they don't let you hear me. So,
well, let me.
But I'm
going to get him off, Jay, and then you
let him know I can't hear him, or he can't hear me.
Yeah, Jake, you won't be able to hear Jay until I get off with you. But hey, great call. Jay's going to answer you right now. All right, roll tide, brother. Thank you for calling in.
Roll tide.
Roll tide. No, I mean he's right. I mean, you're going to have learning experiences, but when you come into a game like this, and I think Clint brought this up, you know, it was more the game plan. Our defense can stop them. We don't need to do anything to hurt ourselves. And as a quarterback, you can't have negative plays, 2 fumbles. Again, the interception one. If he makes a throw down the field, it's going to be a touchdown, at least a big gain. He's behind him, Burton was, but he underthrows it. But again, it's like a punt. And then the fumble by Jace McClellan, I think it was, that had the fumble. So I mean, those type of things you can clean up. You can get. Y'all okay over there?
Yeah, that was a backfire.
Part of me was like, I mean, I'm going to stay strong up here, but I don't know what's going on.
I'm back from D.C. I was just
you ain't made anybody mad, have you, Mick? You're on good terms.
Like,
he's a Baltimore boy.
I know. Look, I'm ready to get it. I've been under the table all night hiding. You know, I'll go right back in there.
So another most viewed game for CBS tonight. You see that? I don't know if you saw that. Yeah,
no, I didn't.
They love it. They love it. They want to see us lose every week.
Well, and you know, getting back to.
Oh, I'm sorry. I read it wrong. Yeah. They said I don't doubt. I'm sorry. I thought my radio producer said another most viewed game, and then he wrote I don't doubt it or something like that. So maybe it's not. Maybe they're normally not into the next day anyway.
Okay. I mean, with the way that finished, for sure.
Yeah.
But
I
love
that.
You know, a lot of people they say, okay, you know, Jalen Milroe last week, he comes in against Arkansas on the road, you know, hostile environment. And so nerves.
No game plan.
Yeah, nerves didn't really shake him last week. Why are you? Because I was claiming, hey, you know, I think a lot of his problem, he didn't look this terrible in practice. He wouldn't be playing if he looked this bad.
Right.
So my point here is that I think nerves played a huge part in it. And then people would kind of question and say, okay, well, why wasn't he nervous last week? He didn't have time to be nervous.
Right. He just had to come in and react.
Yeah, it was a moment. And then he's in, and he also got a huge comfortable lead. But then at the same time, things did start falling apart. He did bounce back. He did have the huge play on 3rd and 15 that really, you know, was a huge difference in that football game.
Yeah.
But all week, he's kind of, I think he was expecting to be the guy. And, I mean, you kind of start to overthink things sometimes when you know, I mean, I know I certainly would. So he just looked to me like a guy, like even some of the simple throws, just way off. And I think he was overthinking it. It's his first start. He's a young player. You know, we got to remember Jalen Hurts wasn't a completed product. Now, granted, he did well as a freshman.
He threw better than this, though.
100%. And the key difference, Jalen didn't turn the football over.
Right.
So you could win with that style of quarterback with this kind of defense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think the coaching staff.
He didn't underthrow those deep balls like that either. He overthrew people, but he didn't underthrow it. Underthrow it turned into interception.
I think the biggest teaching moment for Milroe is, hey, there's a lot of mistakes that he's got to get corrected.
Right.
But the most important is, don't lose us football games. You don't have to go out there and win. We've got a really good team. Turn around and hand it off to Jahmyr Gibbs. He looked fantastic. You got some receivers who can make plays after the catch, but just don't do anything that's going to lose the football game. And that's where I think, you know, Milroe's biggest mistake tonight was.
Right.
Can we go back to that picture with Saban and Jimbo? Did y'all see the handshake at the beginning or before the game?
No,
I missed it.
There it is. Yeah.
Look at that.
So Jimbo came up and stood there for a few seconds behind Coach Saban. I don't know if Coach Saban was like ignoring it. Finally, somebody says, "Hey, your son is here to see you, Dad." And, so he turned around and shook his hand. But it was very short, but they seemed pretty cordial after all the build-up from the offseason.
Well, I had Baron Huber on Friday, and he said that he thought, and I kind of get this. He said he felt like it was a fight in the locker room. And I said, there's fights in the locker room? He's like, yeah.
All the time.
People duke it out. He goes, these guys are from West Virginia. And they just, this is what they do. They just punch each other in the face. And then, he didn't
What if
say
they
that,
just gone at it right pregame, just start punching each other? Oh, my goodness. It's been awesome.
This is two of the most successful football coaches of our lifetime here. Obviously, Saban's number one, but this is only one of a handful of guys, Jimbo, that's won a national championship that's still coaching right now.
Yeah, and I mean, I think we probably I do think that early, because I feel like if Jalen Milroe doesn't make those turnovers, I think it gets really ugly really quick.
I
and
agree.
It plays out the way that we all thought it was going to.
Right, me too.
And I kind of had wondered going in. My question, we talked last night about it.
Yeah.
I was looking at it and saying, okay, from a talent standpoint, from a coaching standpoint, from a motivation standpoint, everything seemed to be pointing towards Alabama. I didn't see a scenario where, where Texas A&M could win. I also didn't take into account that Alabama could turn the football over 4 times.
Yeah, 4 times. I didn't either.
So
I just didn't think they would.
That's where it ended up being close.
And they were all turnovers where Alabama was going in for the Scorpion Deathlock. I mean, it was like they were ready to lock them up. It was about to be over.
Yep.
You know about the Scorpion Deathlock, Jay. Once it's
I
on,
guess. Is that Cobra Kai? I don't know.
It's a stinger. The stinger.
Stingray.
Stingray.
Now we're talking.
All right. Let's go back to the phones just because these guys have waited on and they want to talk about this game tonight. With Jay Barker and Clint Lamb and Mick Gillispie on the Bama Insider YouTube channel. Who's this and where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Spence Morgan.
What's up, Spence?
Hey, what's going on? Roll Tide. A lot of people don't realize that I played football against Jay. I'm an Irwin Eagle, and he was quite the safety.
What year was that?
I played 89, 90.
Late 80s. Yeah.
You remember that, Jay?
Yes, I do remember that.
Jay remembers.
Irwin was one of our rivals, but we were all friends with all the guys from Irwin.
He said you guys were a big rivalry. I know you can't hear Jay, but he's telling us right now.
We have a lot of same friends.
Nice.
Yeah, one of the questions I have is that Pete Golden is so smart. I just casually watch the games, and I've noticed that Malachi Moore is a liability in coverage. Every time that a team goes trips, they send a man in motion and they isolate the star against them, and they either get a pass interference, they get a long chunk, something like that. What we need to take McKinstry, put them in the star, and start Rick. Second part is I don't believe that Bill O'Brien wants to leave Alabama because this is his resume, what he's doing right now, and he's got no creativity because he's stubborn. So that's all I got. Roll Tide.
Hey, Roll Tide, man. Great call.
Irwin Eagles.
Irwin Eagles in the house, Jay. Bringing back some of those old high school rivalries you used to rock.
Yeah, man.
Did he say Arnold? Was he? I didn't hear Was he talking about Arnold? Tyrion Arnold?
I think it's some. Well, didn't he talk about Kool-Aid McKinstry? And Tyrion he had a little bit of a rough night, even though he had a pretty good start.
Yeah.
He's really an outstanding player. He's just got to continue to grow up. Still so young. But I know Coach Saban thinks a lot of him.
All right, let's do the phone lines again. You guys are bringing on some great calls tonight. Clint Lamb, Jay Barker, me, Mick Gillispie. Go ahead and comment, and then we'll chew on it as we talk about Alabama's 24-20 win over Texas A&M, but a tight one where the Aggies had a chance to steal our hearts and break our confidence right at the end of the game. They didn't do it. Who's this and where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Robbie from Douglasville, Georgia. I just want to say, man, that the damn defense is a team. 2022 defense is just like 1992, Jay.
I'll be honest. I made that point. Well, he can't hear me, but I made that point earlier in the show. Yeah, I thought the speed.
Other than the turnovers, this could have been a 24-3, a 24-9 game.
Mm-hmm.
It's still defense in the end, baby.
Yeah. Robbie, great call. I'm going to let Jay talk about that because he's ready to jump in on it. He's made this comparison. Douglas, Georgia, Roll Tide,
Jay,
my friend.
As soon as I knew Milroe was going to play, I said that defense will shine, baby. We're going to get back to 1992.
I love it.
Roll Tide. 1992, Jay.
To me, the the speed, the athleticism, especially we talked about that cheetah package. It just reminded me a lot, just coming off the football, getting to the quarterback, pressuring. We talked about that a lot with whether it be Pete Golding or other or defensive coordinators, where Alabama just didn't get a lot of sacks, a lot of hurries, a lot of pressures. They kind of set back and playing the run and stuff like that early on, especially kind of midway through Saban's career at Alabama. But that group, man, they are fast. They're athletic. You saw those guys dropping into coverage, running guys down from behind. This could be a special group. There they are right there again, bowing to each other.
Hey, and it's like that last drive and stuff. You would expect an elite defense to be able to maybe do a little bit better than they did on that last drive. But you also got to understand, elite defenses today are not what they were 5-10 years ago.
Right.
They're an elite defense compared to this college football because the game is geared towards helping offenses have success. So, I mean, you're not going to have this lockdown. They ran for 37 yards and had 160 yards of total offense. That's just really against anybody that's halfway decent. You're not going to have those type of performances. It's pressuring the quarterback, getting stops when you need to, and being able to rely and trust on the guys that you've got on the field. And I do think defensive pass interferences and being able to play the football in the air a little bit better, a little bit more consistently is something that they'll continue to try to improve on. And that can, end up hurting them at some point down the road. But I also think that they've got all the makings at all three levels. I mean, I think the defensive line's doing well. I thought tonight, Byron Young played well. Jaheim Otis really didn't do anything to stand out, but thought he played well. I love the fact that they got Jamarian Latham and Jamil Burrows a lot more involved this week because they did go with a lot more cheetah package than last week, and those two guys are very package specific. But you've got guys who can, get after the quarterback from the interior as well.
Jay, how long does it take for an AC shoulder sprain to heal?
When I was playing, about a week.
Okay, so
that's promising.
So probably by next week. They
were shooting us up. You got to go play. You got to get. I mean, I did both in one season. Oh yeah, and I missed the LSU game in '93, but it was in my left shoulder. But I played with my left shoulder sprained against Florida in '91, but they had it like taped to my side, so I had to hand off with my right hand to the right and to the left, which was very awkward. And when Danny Woodson got hurt, had to come in and I was hurt as well. So, but yeah, I think Bryce should be back. I mean, I thought they were trying. They just didn't want to rush him back, and I think Clint brought up a good point earlier. They felt like they could beat Texas A&M running the ball with Jalen. The things they do, and the defense would play well against their offense, and that would have been what it worked out. If they didn't have 4 turnovers, it would have been a different game. Yeah.
They still won the football game.
They did, yeah.
And that's
thank you. You finally admit that.
I finally admit it. They did win the football game. It didn't feel like that at first, but all the callers have made me feel better.
Good.
Well, I mean, yeah. And
some other stuff made you feel better.
I do feel like that.
A few of them have.
Yeah.
They did win the football game, and they did kind of exactly outside of, like Jay just said, outside of the turnovers, they did exactly what we thought they were going to be able to do.
That's right.
Run the football and play good defense. The entire difference between a complete blowout like we all predicted and what we saw were the 4 turnovers, and that's something that's correctable. I think that, Jalen's got to stop trying to make a play too much.
Right.
Throw the football, let it fight another down, take your check downs a little bit more. And, I think they'll be fun. This is his first start. I know people are really down on him. I'll tell you what, I really don't think that the guy that you saw tonight would be the guy that you would even see next week, even in a hostile environment like Tennessee. But he's got a lot that he's got to clean up. I mean, bottom line.
All right, let's go back to the phone lines again. Hanging out with Clint Lamb, Jay Barker, and Mick Gillispie on the Bama Insider post-game show. Who's this, and where are you calling from, and what you got going on tonight?
Hey, what's up, guys? Roll Tide. This is Harrison, and I'm calling from Virginia.
Roll Tide.
Hey, man, I just got a couple things to say. All I'm saying is Ty Simpson, dude. I was in Ty Simpson's Instagram comments saying, bro, don't transfer, you're up next. Just because that's what I thought of the game. I'd be interested to hear Jay's perspective on this. When you look at Jalen Milroe's quarterback ability, I just feel like his ceiling is not high.
You need this back?
I don't know, man. I just
Sorry, just keep talking. I got a blanket I got to return.
You're good.
I'm warm though. I'm good now.
I just think you look at. I just think Jalen Milroe's his ceiling as a quarterback is not that high. So I don't know, man.
Well, hey, thanks for the call. I'm Roll Tide from Virginia. Where at in Virginia are you?
Lynchburg, Virginia.
Lynchburg, okay. I know Lynchburg, Virginia.
Yes, sir.
The home of the Hillcats. And
Yeah,
Liberty.
I mean, it's not like it's a small town.
No,
Yes, sir.
no.
I'm a Liberty
I mean-
student. Let's
Yeah,
go.
yeah. Let's go. Let's go. All right, hey.
You know,
great-
Lynchburg.
great
It's
call.
like knowing Moody. You know, like that's what you're.
I've been there when I was
Right.
in the Carolina League. We had to go there for baseball,
Right.
so I've been
Yeah.
there before.
Yeah. So, going back to Jalen real quick. So
Great call.
And yeah, great call. Ty is going to be ready. Ty's not going anywhere. He's not going to transfer out because of the game. He wasn't expecting to play. He's got to get more reps. He's got to get more experience in the offense, and it's going to benefit him better and over time to have that time to learn it and get more acclimated to the offense and stuff. I agree with Clint. I do think Jalen. I mean, his ceiling is so high because of his athleticism and his speed and all these things that you can't develop. He has it naturally. It's God-given. So now it's just about teaching him how to play the position of quarterback at a higher level. And he's sitting behind what may be one of the best that's ever played at Alabama at quarterback and really anywhere in college as far as the way he sees the field. I said earlier, Clint, he's like a Jedi. I mean, that's the way Bryce plays. He sees things that other people don't see, gets the ball out quick. And that's where Jalen's got to get to the point to where he just trusts the offense, knows where guys are supposed to be, and then put the ball there and do it on time instead of trying to just see it happen. He right now needs to see the guy open before he throws it, and that can't happen. Yeah, you got to get the ball out.
The better way to put Jalen Milroe is not that he doesn't have a high ceiling. I think he's got an extremely high ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
He's got an extremely low floor.
Yeah.
And you saw that tonight. The thing about it, I remember when Jalen went from being that true freshman and he was a little bit skittish in the pocket. He would run, it was first read, then run. And then he was going into his sophomore year, and they were talking about how much time that they had spent on, helping him learn to get through his progressions and his reads. The second that things went live against Florida State in that first game, he forgot everything he had been taught because it's literally it's instincts. And Jalen Milroe, his instinct right now is to run.
Yeah.
Just because that's where he's at right now. This is the first situation where it's mattered. He's got over 100,000 people. Well, I mean, a lot more than that watching him, but 100,000 people, surrounding him. And, I think that in the moment he panicked. He didn't play his best performance, but I think this is also a learning moment. He knows what to expect now, moving forward, being the guy, having because one thing about it, Arkansas had not, even though, Jalen wasn't running a game plan that was designed around him,
right.
Arkansas had not planned anything for Jalen Milroe either.
Yep.
So A&M, even though they didn't have anything to really go off of outside of that one half of football and a game plan that wasn't, based off of his skill set, they still were able to watch what he did in high school. They were able to watch, the limited amount that he's played, and they were able to get at least a couple of things where they felt like they could get pressure on him and make him uncomfortable. And when he got uncomfortable, he didn't respond very well. But just because I can remember when Alabama fans were super down on Bryce Young because of a lot of the mop-up duty that he was doing, during his freshman season.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people thought that Paul Tyson was going to be the starting quarterback based off of those performances, which was way too premature. I also think this is a little bit premature. Guys can improve.
Right.
I think moving forward, they'll do a lot better.
Give them a chance.
Give them a chance. Yep.
Hey, look, super chat from the Pinnacle talking to us from OC, Maryland. Where they're up there steaming crabs and hanging out tonight. He wants to know the good stuff, right? Top 9 wide receivers on this team. Who's going to step up? Look, I don't know. I mean, I think the biggest thing for me is just catching the ball, man. I mean, like, just being consistent. We haven't had issues with drops on this team for so long.
Yeah.
And now, but I'm just saying over the years, and then all of a sudden this year, you don't have Mechie, you don't have Williams. You just don't. Like, it's a bunch of different guys that have a ton of talent, but who's going to be the guy that just makes the catches?
It feels like it's somebody different every week.
I know,
doesn't it? I thought Jermaine Burton, considering the limited passing attack, I thought he had a good performance. I think he had 3 or 4 targets. I think he had 3 catches. Had the 35-yard touchdown, which was big. Was able to, create some yardage after the catch. I mean, I don't know, Jay. What do you think? Do you think is there anybody right now that's standing out above the rest?
Ja'Cory looks good. I mean, he's had some really nice plays. Had a couple tonight. Did a really good job sitting down the hole one time for Jalen on the move. They had a real good chemistry together. Burden, again had a solid night. I really thought Isaiah Bond would be used more tonight because he kind of came on last week.
Yeah.
I think he's really got the potential to be a big hitting wide receiver for Alabama, a guy that can create those explosive plays. We really didn't go to Cameron Latu as much as I thought we would. I thought we'd really focus on backs tight end short throws, maybe some of the mesh plays underneath to give really quick, easy throws for Jalen tonight. But, I think the run game was working so well. And again, just the turnovers. I mean, you just eliminate those, and the game plan stays right on course. And I think they had to get off of that just a bit and what maybe they had planned on throughout the week. But now this group of wide receivers is really good. They've got a ton of talent. They just got to keep trying to get the ball to them. And there's just not a lot of opportunities tonight for those guys to really show out. But, Prentice, still a guy that was very impressive in fall practice, still been pretty consistent, had a couple of drops throughout the games that we've had so far. But other than that, I think, just keep doing what they're doing, keep getting better. And these guys, I think there's about 6 or 7 guys that can really make a difference in this team. Now, if I'm game planning for this, I probably do what Saban did with Tua in the second half of the national championship game against Georgia. I find the 3 or 4 guys that my quarterbacks worked with in practice throughout the summer and throughout all the games leading up to it, because there will be a chemistry there, a timing that you won't have with some of the first-team guys. So maybe they looked at some of that tonight, or maybe they didn't. But we'll see. I agree with you. I think Jalen will just get better and better. He'll learn from the night. And, again, the things that he did that were so bad are easily corrected. Being able to hold on to the football, not throw an interception. I mean, those are things that, again, you can't teach what he's got as far as his athletic ability and the gifts he's been given by God. So that's something that he reminds me a lot of me, though, when I look at him on the field.
I know where you're going with this, huh?
No, not at all.
Okay. All right, well, let's do 2 more calls, guys, and then we'll kind of give our final thoughts on today's 24-20 Alabama win over Texas A&M that kind of feels like a loss. Who's this and where you come from?
No, it doesn't. It's a win.
I'm just kidding. All right, who's this and where you come from? You still there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Who's this and where you calling from?
My name is Jay. I'm calling from Virginia. How's it going?
What's up, man? Roll Tide. What you thinking?
Roll Tide. So I want to pass a little bit. I'd like to just maybe give a shout out to Jay Barker. In 1992, I was in the United States Navy. We left the day after the Iron Bowl to go out to sea for 70 days. Wasn't around for the SEC the national championship. All we got on the game was like 2 sentences.
Wow. Well, first of all, thank you for your service. I wish that you had it on Twitter at that time.
He said, thank you for your service. And he wishes that you had it on Twitter. You can't hear him, but that's what he just said.
So the second thing I want to say is, these guys are just kids. I'm not going to blame any of the kids, especially if they're nervous, which very possible Jalen was. So I think part of this is on coaching. I don't think our offensive staff has been as dominant in the last couple of years as it needs to be. I think we really need to tighten up on that. Defense played great. Special teams played, I give them a B for that. Obviously, 50-yard field goals are hard to make. Can't make them all. The chip shot we probably should have made, et cetera. So I'll turn it over to you guys.
Hey, Roll Tide, thanks for the call. I'm going to let Jay respond to you talking about him. He said the Iron Bowl in 92, Jay, and then he was out at sea for
why are you laughing? I mean, yeah.
No, I think it's great, honestly.
He was getting the telegrams from our win like 3 days later.
That is pretty wild to think about.
It is. I don't even want to ask they were listening to it on the radio. A cousin of mine that was actually flying tankers, refuelers at that time for the Kuwait War and all that was going on around that time, whatever, that they were doing a lot of different missions. But, man, thanks for your service, first of all.
Yeah,
really appreciate that. And I hate that you weren't able to be there and share that with us, but we were feeling it from afar. And I know we saw a lot of Alabama flags on tanks and all that kind of stuff during that period of time. So that was very, very special. Yeah.
That really is. All right, guys, last call. Let's do one more. And then we're going to go and just kind of give our final thoughts on today's game. All right. You're the final call tonight. Who's this and where are you calling from?
This is David down here in Louisiana.
David, what is up, brother?
Well, I was hoping I was going to be the last one to get called. Man, I tried it so many times. It rings 1 second and hang up on me the whole night. I was like,
it's been a busy night on the phones, David. We all want to get in and talk about it. It's been, in a lot of ways, it was miserable for me. Not Jay, but for me. I'm just kidding. We won. I'm actually happy. David, I'm actually happy. I'm just giving everybody a hard time.
Oh, I know. Next time you can't. I don't want to hear you say it's going to be a beat down from downtown.
I thought it was. I didn't know he was going to turn it over 4 times, though. Clint didn't know it either.
He didn't tell me.
I think Jimbo does throw this. I think Jimbo made a pact with the devil or something, because he's been giving us hell the past couple years since he's been over
all
there.
the luck
in
that the
Texas
guy
over
has.
Yeah, feel like he keeps trading losses to teams he shouldn't be getting beat by in order to
compete with us, huh?
Yeah.
But we're everybody's Super Bowl. I mean,
I tell you what, if the offense needs to step up, I know they're doing the best they can. And there's a lot of armchair quarterbacks out there, and there's a lot of them in the comment box that's been talking smack about Milroe. I guarantee you 99.999% of those folks that are talking smack about Milroe would have been struggling just as much as he has. I mean, it was his first big-time start, period, against an SEC team. I know last week he went in at, the second quarter, in the second half or whatever, and done pretty good last week. But this was from the beginning of the game to the end of the game. Yeah, he needs to learn to protect the ball a little better. He needs to learn to stand in the pocket and trust his offensive line to protect him a little bit and keep his eyes downfield. But the defense done tremendous tonight. And it's like I've said 1,000 times, and y'all know I have. Those pass interference calls are going to cause us to lose. We were 2 yards away from losing a game tonight against a 3-2 team.
Right.
They got beat by Appalachian State. Appalachian State beat some good teams over the years, but they have got to stop and with these pass interference calls. I mean, it's getting out of hand big time.
Well, David,
but other than that,
well, look, David, I was just
they've
going to
done
say,
great.
Remind everybody in Louisiana that they got smoked by Tennessee in those smoky gray uniforms today. How about that?
Well, I know, because my brother's an LSU fan. I'm the only Alabama fan.
Stay strong.
I'm the only Alabama fan in my family.
Stay strong.
Everybody else is LSU fans. And I don't say LSU, I say LSU, because that Q penalty caused them to beat Florida that time.
Right.
But, yeah, my brother come in there and he was like, yeah, y'all barely squeaked by. I said, well, it happens. Sometimes we need those little close games to keep us on our toes.
Right.
I said, but y'all were so far away, y'all wasn't going to catch up.
Wow.
And if we don't straighten up, play right next week, I'm telling you, Tennessee is legit. I don't care what anybody says. Look, Tennessee has gotten better over the past couple years.
They have.
And they got a quarterback that can throw the ball, and he ain't scared to run the ball either. And he's pretty accurate. He put it on LSU. But anyways, I'm going to let y'all go. Yeah. God bless America. God bless everyone. Y'all be safe and roll tide. A W is a W.
Roll tide, David. Great way to end the phone call segment of the post-game show here.
I'll tell you what. Think about this. If they do to A&M what everybody had thought they were going to do, what would be the narrative going into the next week? Even though it's Neyland Stadium, even though it's a top 10 team, there would have been people saying, hey, Tennessee's going to give them a lot more trouble than they usually do. But everybody would be singing Alabama's praises right now. And it feels like this is the perfect timing for that, because you won't have to worry about an overly inflated, team going into next week. Who might be overly inflated, though, is Tennessee.
Oh, I know.
Because of what they just did to LSU. The narrative this week is this is the best shot Tennessee's had since Nick Saban arrived at Alabama to beat Alabama. And a lot of people are going to be picking them. They're at home. I mean, this was the game that I circled back in May and said this is the one, if I had to pick one game that I think that they lose, this would be the one that I would pick. And, I mean, at the same time, what I'm trying to say, I don't think anybody's picking Alabama to completely railroad Tennessee next week. And I think that will benefit them in their preparations.
I totally agree. Yeah, I totally agree. It's a great motivation now for them to keep getting better. These setbacks that we see as fans, the coaches love at times because it kind of keeps the team honest and makes them keep preparing and working and buying in the system, buying into the process. Did y'all watch the Auburn game today?
I loved it.
Yeah. Did you hear Rick Neuheisel when he was talking? Early on, he said, I think it was, I'm paraphrasing, but quote paraphrase. Harsin knows he's gone. His family knows he's gone. The players know he's gone. They're all saying, don't let the distractions, get to you. Let's play for each other. And I haven't heard a national media guy say that out loud. And it was after a conversation that happened. Now, we've all heard that, hey, he's done. This is it, whatever. But I thought that was interesting that Rick Neuheisel said that on the CBS broadcast.
That's the problem. I didn't know he said that.
Yeah. but it's true.
Weagle,
more damn eagle.
Hey, AJ McCarron said it. He's done.
I know.
If AJ says it, it's done.
Yeah. Once he puts it out there. Look, but they're both right. Auburn is the toughest job in college sports because they're never going to be us. And they want to be. And it's like, Gus Malzahn, I thought, did a great job.
As good of a job as he could have.
Yeah, for going down there and getting them, they're always in the picture, and they're a tough place to go down and play. And they beat Nick Saban in Alabama, but it wasn't good enough. And no matter who it is, it's never good enough. It's interesting to me to see who they bring in. Now, I don't think this was the right hire in the first place, because I don't think they should have fired their coach unless they had the guy that they were going to bring in to replace him with.
They might have had the guy. It was supposed to be Kevin Steele, wasn't it?
Well, I don't know. To some of the
was it like a coup
right?
to try to get him? Which would have been a terrible idea. You wouldn't have done any better than. In fact, you might have done worse than Harsin. Be honest with you, but yeah,
let me tell you this. And this Jay, I'm right. You don't have to tell me I'm right.
You're right.
But I'm right on this.
Yeah.
Before Nick Saban got here, we had those rogue boosters too.
Yeah.
We had those same idiots that just constantly meddle in everything going on and ruin everything. And you couldn't get out of your own way because these guys, just because they have money, they just jump in and they dip their hands in everything. And then when Nick Saban came in, he's like, look, I'm running this. And then when we had one athletic director that used to be a head coach that didn't get it, he goes and starts working with the president of the team. The president of the university. He just went over top of that guy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why Alabama's had this sustained success that they've had. Auburn's got this deal now where it's like, one fraction wanted Harsin and then another one didn't. They wanted Steele. The guy never even had a chance.
That's true.
Right. Harsin at Auburn is like Lane Kiffin coaching an Ivy League team. The cultures don't mix, right? His philosophy, the way he does things, coming from Boise State, I don't think recruiting-wise, just understanding Auburn, understanding the Southeastern Conference, but they chose him. Green, the athletic director at that time, chose to go out and get this guy. Felt like it probably through consulting firms like they all use now to say, hey, here's the analytics, here's this guy. And I don't know Brian Harsin. I'll be honest, I've only met him one time and never really been around. He may be a terrific guy. He has an unbelievable entourage that follows him around after the games. I'll tell you that much.
Really?
But all my buddies tell me that.
Yeah.
But he may be a great dude. But again, I don't think the way that he approaches the culture and being in the South is just so different. And I don't know. To me, they always talk about family, but they're the first ones to cut ties. They're the first ones to always just
eat their own.
They do, and then all the stuff they put out this spring and summer about that young girl and stuff.
It wasn't even true.
No, and it's just like you guys. I don't know. They were running him off, but crazy.
I talk about culture fits. I think there's two Tigers in the SEC that's good. I think LSU as well with Brian Kelly.
I agree.
But granted, he's a much better coach than Brian Harsin, so he's going to be able to overcome a lot more. Where I think Brian Harsin has really struggled, and it's something that boosters, you really can't say anything about, boosters standing in your way of this other than maybe the perception of you when you go out on the recruiting trail. But he's been there a couple of years. You're not seeing strides being made on that front. And so you kind of know it's not just about the present. The future's not going to look any better. If you're the talent on your roster is going in the wrong direction, there's nothing that would lead you to believe that he's going to be able to get it turned around. So you've got to, the number one thing that you have to do is you've got to get somebody that can recruit.
Yeah.
And I don't know all of his methods. I don't think they were all, up to snub.
It wasn't working.
But Hugh Freeze certainly is willing to go out there and do what it takes to recruit at a high level.
Right.
So
who's going to be the next guy? It's just going to be interesting because if they make the wrong decision, they could be looking at the same situation that Tennessee just got out of. They could be looking at the same situation that Alabama dealt with when they ran off Gene Stallings, no matter what anyone wants to say. And you have to have the right guy lined up that can recruit.
How in the hell did Tennessee get out of that hole so fast? I still don't know.
They got lucky.
I mean, that's exactly what happened.
Lucky.
But you know what?
They got a good coach.
A good coach and his offensive system is something that you can trust. And right now in college football, you want to recruit premier talent on the offensive side of the football because, it's like Lane Kiffin, not playing great defense at all. But if you can put up points and you look exciting doing it, and you're able to hang with some of these teams because you can score points, the number one thing that you can do as far as building momentum on the recruiting trail is to win football games. And right now, that's the biggest. I mean, what's Auburn's biggest problem right now? They're terrible offensively.
Right.
And the recruiting is reflecting that. But all these teams, that have good offenses, they're able to do a lot more on the recruiting trail. So you got to get the talent, and then you worry about the development side. And just right now, it's Auburn's not getting off the ground floor.
Yeah. All right, guys, let's go around the room one more time, and then we're going to wrap it up.
Yeah, my iPad's about to die.
All right, well, you go first then, Jay. Well, where
First of
are you
all,
right now? What percentage? 3%. All right, you got 3%. Go.
I got 3%.
Jay Barker, go.
So a win's a win. I love it tonight. Celebrate it. Have fun. 24-hour rule. Whether it's wins or losses, you got to get past them. And I agree with Clint. This could be a motivating factor for Alabama leading into Tennessee. Should be a great matchup. I can't wait to see this defense against that offense. Speed on both sides of the football. But it's Tennessee week. I'm past this one now. Time to get ready for the Volunteers.
All right, Jay, great stuff from you.
Good night. Love y'all.
Hey, roll tide. Love
Appreciate you, Jay.
Roll tide. All right.
Rucko said Auburn could take O'Brien off our hands. I just thought that was a hilarious comment. I don't even know if we have time to talk about it, but that's pretty funny. All right, your turn, Clint.
Yeah, first off, we might not even have to worry about, Jalen taking that next step in his development. It very well could be Bryce, lining up at quarterback next week. But regardless, just, people were wrong about Mac Jones after the 2 pick sixes against Auburn. They were wrong about Bryce Young after his limited action.
I wasn't about him, but I was wrong about Mac. I never thought he would turn.
Just maybe, there's something called development, positive growth and development, and you might be able to see a little bit of that out of Jalen. And that starts with being thrown out there and seeing where, a lot of the stuff that you've worked on, where it worked and where it didn't, and what you need to continue to work on. And so I wouldn't give up on him just yet. Defensively, they're going to be able to hang with anybody. What people's got to understand, though, Alabama has to score points next week. When you have an elite defense going against an elite offense in today's college football, the elite offense is going to prevail 99 out of 100 times.
Right.
So it's just the way that the game is structured. I mean, you look at Alabama's defense a couple of years ago. It was not where it is this year, but it was good. It goes against Ole Miss, completely gets dismantled. Georgia's historically good defense last year against Alabama in the national title game when they were in the SEC championship, when they were close, to being full strength. They had those 2 receivers completely dismantle the Georgia defense. So if you're somebody that thinks that they're going to go in and shut that offense down, they're not going to. Whether it's Bryce Young, if Jalen Milroe does have to start, you've got to figure out a way to put points on the board more consistently. You got to limit your turnovers. And I think that they can go in a Neyland Stadium and get a win, but it's going to be a lot tougher than, maybe some people were predicting going into the year.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, if Bryce Young isn't in there, it's a different team.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've almost felt like that Jalen Milroe tonight, him getting the start against this defense, and the fact that they're so, suspect as far as their run defense, and they have a strong secondary. I thought that would play really into his hand pretty well because he runs the football so well, and Alabama's run game actually looks better with him in there. But you also got to remember that there are situations where you're going to have to throw the football, and it was in those moments where he really crumbled. And so, Bryce Young, regardless of how good that secondary is, I mean, he's going to have success really against anybody. And so getting him back on the field, making sure that he's healthy and 100%, it was Alabama got to win regardless of whether he played or didn't play. But I think next week's a different story if he doesn't.
Yeah, no doubt. David, thank you for the super chat. Talking about Will Anderson. But To'o actually transferred from Tennessee, going back to take on his old teammates
Tyler Steen got player of the week for that Vanderbilt game.
Hey, I'd love to see it happen again.
To's going to have about 25 tackles is what I'm guessing.
Yeah, we'll see. It's going to be – I'm going to the game. This is – I mean, I don't go in the stadium a lot. I mean, I'm like –
Oh, you're going in?
I'm going in it, yeah.
Now we're talking.
I'm going in. You guys are going to come hang out.
Are you going to be the guy streaking in the third quarter?
No, I'll be streaking probably to wherever I'm going to do the post-game show from. But, I mean, like I go into these. You know, I was at the last time Alabama lost to Tennessee. It was at Neyland Stadium. I went to Buffalo Wild Wings on Cumberland Avenue. It doesn't even exist anymore. I was at the airport on Wednesday. I ran into a Tennessee fan. And I'm like, yeah, it was at Buffalo Wild Wings on Cumberland last time Alabama lost to Tennessee. And he was like, yeah, I think it was 6. He was a grown man. He said, I think I was 6.
I lived in Tennessee in Sevierville, which is up there near you, for 3 years.
Right.
It was from, I think, 99 to 02. And every year I was up there, Tennessee beat Alabama. And you know, it was a rough couple of years. The year I moved back, Alabama finally beat them. But the problem is I was away from them. You didn't have social media like you do today. I had no idea how to trust me. I was searching for phone numbers. I was going to make some return phone calls and get some shots in, but wasn't able to do it. But I mean, it's you let Tennessee beat Alabama next week if that ends up happening.
I'll find out about it.
I'll tell you. I mean, you're going to get 15 years of trash talking flowing back the other way. I don't care where all these other people rank on the rivalry scale right now.
Yeah.
The Tennessee Volunteers are going to immediately jump to either 1 or 2 if that ends up happening. But, you know, hopefully Alabama can make it 16 straight.
Hey, we're doing a football show. Ben George and I were in school when Alabama was losing to Tennessee, and we're trying to convince Mike Johnson that Tennessee was a rival. And he's like, well, it's LSU and Auburn. I'm like, you just don't know yet.
Yep.
And that's a good thing.
Yep. You will, though.
You'll see it.
The second, it might be, is it this year? Is it next year? At some point, it's gonna go the other way. And I'm telling you, they might burn Knoxville to the ground when that happens.
Be crazy.
Yeah. You think they roll trees at Toomer's Corner? Wait until what they do to Knoxville after however many years it's been since they've been able to beat Alabama. It's going to get wild.
Yep. All right, guys, thank you for hanging out with us on the post-game show presented by Westgate Luxury Condominiums. Alice, our friend, who is the great real estate agent that will get you set up with one of these awesome condominiums, swung by and dropped this water off to me just to make sure I stay hydrated while I'm doing the show. And I want to tell you right now that this place is awesome. My friend Cheryl Yingling came up here, and she was like, look, I've kind of had my eye on one of these. 1 to 5 bedroom units, the oversized balconies, which we're right next to the stadium. I mean, I can see the Walk of Champions from here. I don't think I can hit it with a baseball, but I can see it really good. The Saban statue, which is doing that. I can see Denny chimes from here, campus, the strip. So it's a really awesome place. If you're coming into town, even if you don't want to buy one of these, but you're just looking to rent, you want to come into town and do it right. The parking's great. We're in the Skygate Club. This is where we do all of our shows from. The kitchens are amazing. Subwoof or Sub-Zero and Wolf kitchens. They're the top of the line appliances. They have all of those here as well. The units go from 900 to 3,000 square feet. But it's just worth checking out for yourself, westgateal.com. And, you know, we do the show from up here every Saturday home game.
Yeah, I mean, just every time I get to walk up here.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I start thinking, okay, you know, I'm going to get my finances in order. We'll figure this out.
Get on 3. We're working on getting you a raise to be able to afford this.
See, now we're talking.
Yeah.
I like this. You're going to spearhead this?
I'm learning.
I'll let you come hang out at my place, man.
Get me an extra room in there.
I'll
a little studio.
I'll get you your own bathroom, man. We're bedroom, bathroom, the whole get up.
So we're going to do westgateal.com. Maybe you'll get the unit next to us.
Oh, we're going to be throwing down, too. It's going to be a blast.
Party.
It's going to be the fun condo.
When this show's over, everybody just comes down to Clint's apartment.
Oh, see, I love the sound of that. I feel like I'm at home right now. I already do.
Hey, guys, don't forget, we're going to have all kind of stuff this week getting you ready for Alabama and Tennessee, the annual 3rd Saturday in October game between Alabama and Tennessee. It's going to be the biggest one that we've had it might be the biggest Alabama and Tennessee game ever. Think about that. And there's been some big ones over the years.
How many times has Tennessee and Alabama both been ranked in the top 10?
I don't know. They're going.
I think I heard someone say it's been like 3 or 4 times ever.
Yeah.
And the last time I want to say was in the late 90s, or excuse me, late 80s, early 90s.
Right. Jay might have played in it, honestly.
Yeah, you might be right. In fact, I need to go fact check that. I mean, that's it's Tennessee week now. Right. It's official. I get to go do all this research and have fun with it. But I'm pretty sure I heard that somewhere. Yeah. I wish I could give credit, but.
It's got to be game day. Chris, our producer, tells us that. Look, I agree. I mean, it's going to be all, as the kids used to say, off the chain.
Oh, they stopped saying that?
Yeah, I think
I'm too old.
Do they still say that? Off the chain? Trey, what's it? It's going to be fire. The guys tell me.
Yeah, I do say fire too.
But Trey, is off the chain still used? Trey Yanity says we could still use off the train too.
Off the train?
Off the chain.
Yeah.
I'm about to jump off the train.
Yeah,
right back here.
It's off the train from now on.
We're going to start our own lingo. But anyway, guys, like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. That's a way of saying roll tide. If you had fun with us hanging out on the post-game show, we had a lot of fun hanging out with you guys as well. The calls were great. This is the best, site in Alabama sports, and it's because of you guys. The way that you come on, you got something to say. I love the message board, the heat that you guys were bringing on there tonight, and then the calls were fantastic. I had a lot of fun. I mean, really, we could sit here and do this for another hour and 40 minutes, except, at some point we got to leave. So,
yeah, next week shouldn't be a problem, but I think Mississippi State, I'm going to call Nick and see if he can keep that game close where we can keep this excitement going.
It'd be fun.
He's going to have to start paying some medical bills if he keeps putting Alabama fans through this.
This was crazy. But you know what? It was a win, 24-20. Don't forget, we'll be back on Monday Night Quarterback. The two of us and Chris will be on there as well. We'll have Jimmy Stein's reaction to the game. We'll talk to Joseph Hastings about recruiting, how everything went, because two of the biggest recruiting juggernauts in college football got together tonight on the field right behind us. So we'll hear how all of that went. We'll have Nick Saban's press conferences, all of that stuff. So we got a big week coming up. Andrew Bone will have his recruiting show on Tuesday. The tailgate show Friday will be from Sevierville, Tennessee. So we're going to be up there in enemy territory, your own old hometown.
I'm coming too.
And he's coming. He's coming. Be there for the whole show. You coming for the whole show?
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course you are. All right. Anyway, guys, WestgateAL.com, the Bama Insider YouTube channel. And the final thing I want to tell all of you guys, as I see you all, the little eyeball on there, there's a lot of you, do yourself a favor right now. You want to read Clint's work, you can do that. All the really good stuff is at BamaInsider.com. You can get that right now. For $10, you can get an entire year. That's the recruiting, that's the team coverage that he provides, that's the message board, all of that stuff available. $1 if you just want to put your toe in the water, $1 for 4 months, but the $10 for a year, great deal, and you're going to get all the stuff that you guys are working on.
Yeah, I mean, it's first of all, Bone and Hastings tackling the recruiting. I know that no one else does it like those two combined. As far as Hastings traveling to the games and kind of boots on the ground, and Bone's connections and all the insider reports you're going to be able to get from him. And Jimmy, is great on the message boards. He's got great insight. But really, where the website to me has grown the absolute most is just the community. And that's what we're trying to, we know that the message board is really the baby. That's the thing that we've got to, continue to grow. And the amount of growth that we've seen has been incredible. So jump on now and kind of make a name for yourself. We've got a lot of great posters over there. And, really, YouTube, podcast, team coverage, recruiting coverage, absolutely everything that you could possibly want as far as covering Alabama football and talking about it. We got it covered. So
all right. Good. Well, great stuff from you, Clint. Special thanks, Trey Yanity and Chris Daughtry, and for Jay Barker and Clint Lamb. I'm Mick Gillispie. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. That does it. Hey, by the way, Alabama won 24-20. They're still undefeated. The next Saturday is going to be the biggest game in the history of Alabama and Tennessee in that rivalry. And I can't wait to cover it.
Mick, I'm going to make you be in Nick Saban's press conference on Monday. You're going to be sitting next to me.
I'm not going. I do give the rat poison from time to time. But this is going to be a beast of a game.
I'm going to play your clip, and then I'm going to ask him to react to it with you sitting right there.
Hey, look, if Milroe doesn't turn it over 3 times,
you're not wrong. I'm right there with you.
They were this close to just packing up and heading back home.
I said it's either going to be 2021 LSU or it's going to be 2020 LSU. They were either going to completely drum them or it was going to be a last second, and it ended up being 2021. So it happens sometimes, but a win is a win.
All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. Roll Tide.